technical, then I thought that was like what would get me a lot of likes. But I realized it was like more just doing something cool that, other people, even if it wasn't like as crazy, like as long as people kind of vibe with it, that's what kind of like got more of the likes. Okay, it's 7 o'clock, so we'll jump in. But it's good to see y'all today. How's everyone doing? Awesome. Thank you for the energy. All right. So just to kind of jump right in, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into like the project demos today. That's kind of all we're gonna be working on. We'll be having another critique next week. So two optional critiques, one on Monday, one on Wednesday. I believe the project is due on week 8, along with some other exercises, though. So just to kind of check that out. Yes, there we go, week 8. So project 1, the texture packet and the proportional division packet, which is the one that we did with the boxes last week, those will be due on week 8, so all together. We do need to have those things squared away before we move on to any new exercises and projects. So I need you all to finish those to learn those lessons. But other than that, though, what is it? Next week we will have some like time for like feedback. So if you do want to post for like a critique, it'll be kind of be like what we did last week. This week, we're just going to focus on lab and demos. So I'm just going to be drawing and like doing work. Um, Other than that, though, let's see. So we have a printing show right now, or it's like it's an exhibition gallery, like an artist in residence. His name is Pablo Acevedo, I think. He what is it? Does a lot of like woodblock printing. So if y'all, I don't know if anyone, did anybody go on the thing on Saturday or check it out?
I walked by it.
Walk by. What is it? I got to check it out and I went to the exhibition and stuff. It was pretty cool. If you like woodblock printing and you like what is it? What is it? Just like yeah, just printing in general.
Yeah, wood.
Yeah, woodcut, a lot of that kind of stuff. So, they would like carve into the blocks or like roll like the ink on and they'll like what is it? What is it like, stamp it on like paper and stuff. It's like really cool. And you get to see like the wood blocks along with like the prints too. So you can kind of get like a good idea on like how the process works. Other than that though, that's pretty much it for the announcements. Anybody have any questions before we jump into the demos? Okay, so this week is just lab time. If you want to like work on your stuff, you can work on your stuff. I'm just gonna be like trying to finish up the project demo here. Let's see. Just do me a favor, y'all. If y'all need help, let me know. But if you have a question, let me know. But if anybody needs help, wait, I guess like until after the break so I can at least get like some of the stuff done. I just wanted to say that because I've realized like it helps me a little bit more with like just like managing time to get some stuff done first, and then like afterwards, like if y'all have questions, like after a certain point, then I can I'm gonna allocate some time to the demo. Okay, so let's see. We got a lot of this in. I want to kind of get started refining or finishing up the drawing, and I also want to start doing some like valuing and texturing too. You don't have to add too much like value and texture, but I do want y'all to just kind of suggest it, kind of like the couch over here. You'll see that, right? So some like hatch marks, things like that. If you want to like go even more, if y'all want to push it even more, that's fine with me too. But give me a second, I have to recalibrate this. If you don't know how to recalibrate a Wacom pen, just go to the taskbar and type in Wacom tablet properties, and then go to calibrate, and then just press calibrate. You get to play this little video game. There we go. Okay, now it's working. Okay. Let's see. So let's finish up this part over here. Yeah, this week's a good week to like catch up on any work. After the break, if y'all have like if y'all need me to go to your seat or anything, feel free to let me know too. You can like check out y'all stuff. Oh, this top part's a mirror. Okay. Layer. Grab a hard round brush with shape dynamics. Oh, I think this might be a mirror too, actually. You know, I'm zooming in on it. It's like a little bit more clear. Let's fix that up. Um, I guess like some sort of like chord or something over here. When y'all are drawing stuff, again, like there are two ways to draw, like I said last week. You could either like draw to like to kind of like create a little bit of hierarchy and like design out like where you want people to look by simplifying some of the shapes and stuff. And also, there's also drawing to describe, which is like just trying to draw out every single detail. Now, if you're trying to draw out every single detail, it's going to be tough because, like, I mean, a lot of these things have a lot of noise and things can get very, very busy. Which is, I mean, there's different levels of that too, by the way. It's like, you know, there's definitely like a level of it where maybe it's not as detailed. So, but what I would like y'all to do is maybe find somewhere in like in between it. Because like what you want to do is I want enough description in these that like they, you know, they look accurate to the reference, but also just be mindful of like where you want to like push more texture. Like if you have like a lot of like for example, like these walls are they probably have like noise in real life, right? Like kind of like these walls over here with like textures and stuff. And I can like add noise by maybe like stippling. But if I have like wood texture next to it, kind of like that, it starts to like, you see how like there's like hatching here. If I add hatching here and I add like stippling here, it starts to like flatten it out a little bit because like there's too much texture. So what I would do is I would maybe like push more texture in areas of rest. I mean, where I have areas of rest, I need areas of busyness. So over here we have areas of rest, so we have areas of business, right? So detail next to areas with less detail. And also be mindful about your line weight too, y'all. Like thin line weight is a lot more delicate and like doesn't really hold as much weight. Whereas like thicker line weight is going to imply like it's like grounded or like or very, very solid in general. So you see, I have like kind of, and also like, what is it? Like, if you look at these like lines too, like they should be closer together because like they, I mean, from far away, they're quite thin. This wall is like parallel to the other side. It should be like going to the vanishing point too through the mirror. So make it thinner though, because I want to like show depth. So having like a thicker line for this mirror and then showing a thinner line behind it is going to help show depth too. So you can use like line weight to show depth as well, y'all. You take advantage of say utilizing your line weight. There. Kind of like that, I guess. Help us with these parts right here too. It's kind of how I would solve this particular part right here. This part I'm kind of eyeballing, to be honest, but you know, I would be really careful about eyeballing, y'all. Like, if you must eyeball, do it in parts where it's a lot less noticeable to start off with. Like, because it's eventually, if you get good enough, you could probably eyeball most stuff and be kind of accurate. But even like, Kim Jong-il, like, if you even he was accurate, but even he wasn't like completely precise all the time, right? But I recommend like with enough practice, you'll eventually get like, better at doing that. But if you're gonna eyeball to start with, I said like start off with smaller parts that are less noticeable and always look at the lines around the area you're trying to eyeball. Like when I eyeball this, like this particular area right here, when I eyeball like this particular area right here, I look at like the line on the bottom and this one up here to help me determine like how they converge. Go back here, this, X. Oh, I guess you know what? I already got these parts, so that makes it really easy. Realize that. Go. That's looking good. I think for these designs, I might just draw them flat and distort them on there. That might be a little bit easier for these. They're not really big things to focus on right now. I may do that like later, like maybe even like on Wednesday, just because it's pretty easy to do and like you can focus on other stuff like texturing and stuff first. I do want to maybe get the wood panels though. Oh shoot. No worries. Please go take care of that. Okay. Let's make a new layer. I'm gonna go ahead and just draw some wood panels. Last time I did this, it was kind of like messy. I gotta do it like really clean this time. Okay, this. I'm just making duplicates. Probably like in my opinion, probably like the fastest way to do this. Yeah, I'm gonna retexture on top later, I think. I was debating if I should like texture each of the tiles individually first, but I think it might actually be better for me to do that later, so that way I can break up like the stiffness of this. Because whenever you distort stuff, it tends to be a little bit stiffer. So I like to go back in and like just redraw like some of the stuff so it feels a little bit more hand drawn too. Like for example, let's go ahead and take this. Maybe make like another row. Gosh, something doesn't look right. Let's turn this off. Go. Okay, let's turn this back on. I'm gonna go ahead and right click. Let's go ahead and distort. Smaller. accurate, but want slightly smaller size.
Demo.
Oh, it did, yeah.
So for
Yeah, they set up like a tent. It was pretty cool. Yeah. And they had a merch store downstairs too and stuff, so that was fun. I think it was pretty close. We'll go with this. All right, and here's what I would do. I'm gonna make a mask, and I already showed y'all like how to use a mask, right? Okay, anybody need a refresher? Okay, so a mask is really easy to make. You're gonna start off with a layer you want to add a mask to. In this case, I want to add it to my floor tiles. So I'm gonna add a mask, and a mask is gonna be appear right here. Now you're allowed to click between the two mask layers, just like this. So if you want to work on the original layer, it's right here. But if you want to work on the mask, it's right here. Anybody have any questions so far? Okay, so the way a mask works is if you use like what is it, black, it's gonna like hide stuff. And like it kind of helps you to like look at it over here. Kind of like it kind of looks like a hole. You all see that, right? Basically, like whenever you color using black, it's almost like you're turning into like a hole. So it gets rid of it. White is gonna reveal it. So I always like to think of like what is it? Hide in the shadows, reveal in the light. That's like an easier way to remember it. Now, if you use gray, it's going to be transparent because it's in the middle. You see that, right? So the beauty of a mask is you can erase stuff or hide stuff and reveal stuff using black and white. So you're never really destroying the sketch that you have underneath. Does that make sense, everyone? Anybody like super confused? Okay, so what I would do is I would actually mask everything. So I'm just gonna make everything black. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back here and I'm just gonna use white. I'm just gonna color in the areas that I want to add these floor tiles to. Some of these are kind of like weird. You gotta like fix them. These parts, we can just suggest them. You know, probably add value down there too. Yeah, maybe something kind of like this. Let's just go ahead and turn off these lines. Oh, it's a little bit off. Let's see, fix that. You also have to like kind of erase like wait, I guess like actually you know what? Having it like this is bad, but it's a lot of detail and it's kind of like mudding up some of these parts over here. So later what I would do is I would actually use like shadow to kind of like simplify this area. Yeah, it's too much. See, if I erase it, it feels a lot more clean. Y'all see that, right? So like you can like think about because like that area is going to be in shadow anyway. So I'm probably going to go back later on like a different layer and just like grab some black and like start like inking in these parts. And then what I can do is I could use like hatching to like help me like blend into So what is it? The floor, or I can use stippling. Stippling is also really nice too. I probably use stippling instead. Stippling's a little bit more neutral, a little easier for us to what is it? To control also. Let's go back here, up a little bit. It's been really good. Let's do these lines. There's like these textures on the top over here. Let me reopen this. Let me save this real quick too. Yeah, there's like these lines on the top. So I can also do that like distort trick again, but like let's sketch this one out instead. When you're using the distort trick, you still have to understand like the foundations of like the sketch. So you can't just like copy and paste it all the time and like think it's gonna work. Like sometimes it's gonna be too flat. So you have to like understand what to kind of take out. Like for example, if I was like working with these up here, let's go ahead and turn on these lines. Let's go ahead and make a couple lines too. And make enough lines so that it's easy for you to sketch. Like if you feel like you need more, like just draw a couple more. That's fine. And these also feel a little bit more hand drawn too. So I just want to maybe go in and try to replicate that a little bit. Oh, there's this thing over here though. Make my brush a little bit thinner. I'm looking at these two red lines to help me kind of determine like which direction to go. Once you have enough too, you could probably turn off these lines and just kind of go back in and like readjust. It's like now you have these lines, it's a little bit easier for you to like know which direction to like patch and stuff, right? The areas are a little bit darker. I'm gonna condense them. Also, like when you condense stuff, you have to think about your line weight. Like how skinny are those lines when they're being condensed? Because like when you have like thicker ones and you start to condense them, it's gonna have a different feel than like when you have, was it really, really, really like small ones too. I tried some pretty expensive coffee today. It was 18 bucks a cup.
What? Ooh, did you go to Blue Bottle?
No, I went to it's called Playa in like Fullerton, downtown Fullerton. Like it's
Like
like
coffee?
yeah, Play Coffee. Yeah.
Oh, it's a pour over, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because what is it? My friend wanted to since like well to be more technical about it, because like what is it? What is it? My my business partner slash mom wants me to be more technical about it. We are not the owners, our investor is the owner.
Right.
So, but we are still opening up the coffee shop and running the coffee shop. So, so what is it? I have to say that our investor is the owners. What is it? My friend wanted me to go test out some coffee and like, cause we wanted to figure out what makes like, coffee taste even better. So like we went to he took me to play coffee and like we just tried out some of the coffee there and I got the $8 one, he got the $18 one and like no. Not even I can't think of any way it'd be okay. Um when y'all drink coffee, like most of the time, do y'all like swish it in your mouth and like really like taste the aroma and all that stuff? Anybody do that? Some people, yes. Okay. So like it's I think it's like very few people, which I don't it's nothing against that though. Like I think that's really cool and all. Like 'cause that's what I did with the coffee today. But like what is it? I realized like coffee can only get so good and like in terms of like just like business wise, most people who are going to buy a coffee from a coffee shop is probably going to be in a grab and go situation. So like as long as it tastes good and it's clean and like the service is good, clean is really important. Like I think like I realized like yeah, coffee like can get because the coffee I got like we tried was like from like Norway and stuff, and one was like from like Paris. It's like it was like what is it? But honestly, like when I tried it, unless I swished it in my mouth, like when I swish it, you could taste like a little bit of sweetness and fruits, but otherwise, like when I was just drinking it, it just it's either like sour or like bitter. Like, and I like my coffee. If I don't drink black coffee, I like it with like honey anyways.
The end of the day, it's always preference.
It is, yeah, and it really is. You're right. Like food should be enjoyed your own way.
I feel like there's been a big, it used to be like everything was like about the roast.
Mhm.
Now it's all about like the coffee. So like the taste profile is like really different.
We're like entering fourth wave. It's not third wave anymore.
What's fourth wave and third wave?
There's the first wave
Uh,
of coffee was like in I want to say early 2000s, 90s when like Dunkin' Donuts became hot on coffee and like all the diner type of places just really emphasize coffee. Second wave, you see like Starbucks and it becomes more of like its own thing. And then what are the other ones that came out? Like what's the other one? The other Starbucks. It's not Starbucks. It's like Leaf, Coffee Bean and Leaf.
Oh, coffee bean.
Yeah, so that's like second wave coffee, and then third wave is when people basically like the hipster movement of like roasting it to make sure you get some flavors out of it and making sure to use the proper titles like serving espresso, like porteritos, casados, macchiatos.
uh,
But
ah,
like I don't think third wave is I think we're going into like fourth wave because now it's more about just general flavor. Like it's not perfecting coffee, it's just like I see a lot of foams, like
uh,
cold foams. And people are just getting like super artsy with it. So there's not a label for it yet, but it's definitely not third wave anymore.
oh man, that's so interesting.
There's so many layers. I worked at I was a part of the first batch of employees for a roastery in Placentia,
Oh, cool.
Golden State. I don't know if you visited that one yet.
Uh-uh.
We roast in house and
Uh,
then it's a coffee shop.
oh, I have to check it out.
It's kind of cool. You could get a tour of the like
Uh,
roastery too.
mhm.
It's cool.
Oh, what? Yeah, I'd love to check that out.
My boss was like a mega nerd. He, I think day one, I had like 10 espresso shots
Oh my gosh.
because I had to try. And I had to figure out what's wrong with each of them.
Oh my gosh, what?
Damn.
Or like which one like hold too much water or It's
Dang, you're a coffee pro then.
it's only thanks to him. He was super cool. He turned it into an art form.
That's
Sure.
awesome. But if you ever stop by, I'm gonna need your approval.
You'd like the slurp where it goes.
Yeah, that's. Yep. And then we do cupping. Have you done cupping? Where it's like fresh out of the roastery, and so we just like coffee and cup, and everyone goes around a table with like a spoon and literally does that.
That's so
It's
interesting.
not a cold. It's just.
You have to.
It's not a cold. But yeah, I was so weirded out when they were trying to teach me, like, yeah, like you slurp it and like let it hit the roof of your mouth. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's not how you eat food. Like, trust us. It's true, you do taste more, but it's still it's funny.
It's kind of like you know how people are like really into wine?
Yes, it is. It's like this, it's totally like that type of thing, different type of people.
Yeah, I get you, I get you.
I'll have to check that out, Trinity. Thanks for sharing.
You gotta check it out soon though, because Bodie Leaf just bought it, so it might get ruined.
Who?
Bodie Leaf just bought
Oh,
it, so hopefully they don't change the recipes, but might not have a lot of time. I don't know.
dude, man, you scared me when you said Bodie.
Why?
I worked at a coffee shop too, and my boss name was Bodie, and he let me go.
No, Bodie Leaf like the cup.
I was like, man, does he own every coffee shop?
No, no. But our owners are punks though, too.
Uh-huh.
Nice. I know they taught me to hate Starbucks. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't hate it anymore though. I matured. But it's not cheap anymore though. I used to like Starbucks when it's cheap. You gave it a month.
Yeah, I tried.
You gave it a free trial.
I was like, oh my gosh, it's bad, like the adrenaline. I'm like, the line was going like almost out the door, and I'm like, I'm like, what?
Oh,
I'm like, I fired myself.
you get a different type of people that go to Starbucks too. I feel like
Yeah.
people have like this specific drink. It's got like consists of like 80 different. I don't know.
Yeah, like you guys got your regulars.
Yeah.
Did the same thing at Panera. I was one of the people that the drive-through Panera up
Yeah.
on Imperial. That was like the first drive-through Panera. It was like as a concept.
Oh, the one way by like in
Like
Brea?
Brea Mall.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I know exactly
I
what
was
that is.
one of the people that helped open that store. And
Oh no.
yeah, it was a two-different concept type of thing with the drive-through, and like Panera's menu is way too complicated to drive through effectively. And we learned that quick.
The hard way.
I quit in a month.
No way. What made it hard? Just making all the weird.
Just imagine like making salads and sandwiches when everything has to be like completely to order and there's like 12 It's
People.
just
Yeah.
Hey,
like
Jesse.
you order soup, but the soup's not ready, but you're in the drive-through. Like,
Oh, that's rough. Yeah, who eats soup in the car though?
I don't know, like Americans, right?
That's a good point.
Hey, Jesse.
I have always wanted Italian drive-throughs though. Like sometimes I just want off there, but I don't really go to a sit down restaurant for all I know.
Pretty good. That's like my, yeah, you know, like the hot bar.
I've never gotten. I guess I could.
I'll take note of that.
I have to drive like an hour to go to a Whole Foods though.
Yeah.
So for some of these dark parts, y'all, I'm just gonna like ink them in. That's something y'all can do too. Just like be mindful because like for me, like if I feel like if I do too much of it right now, this could start to become like a focal area. But it's a nice way to just kind of like show some depth. And if you have to like, what is it, even like show like transition, you could use like hatching to kind of do that too. I will say though, like just be careful of how much detail you add, because like if you're pushing that much detail to something small, like everything else has to kind of like adjust to that ratio too. So like just like unless you're trying to describe everything again, because like you can literally be a technical artist and try to draw every single part. This proportion is kind of weird. That's okay. Should have planned this out more. Yeah, that's taking a lot of attention now because it's just so descriptive. So I might have to go back and like simplify some of this because it's just so busy. Um, I got to draw some doorknobs too. Okay, I didn't want to like maybe start like inking in some of the stuff just to kind of show you how like I would maybe attempt that. Bind these two together. We'll take a break at 8 o'clock, y'all. Give y'all a heads up. Bless you. Another thing too, y'all, is like your line work has to be like accurate enough or pretty accurate, right? Perspective wise and all that stuff. But your line quality has to be clean, but like don't worry about like things being like perfect. Like it's not supposed to look robotic. Like from I would say like the best thing to do is like for example, when you look at these parts over here, they're like kind of like rougher, really weirdly perspective. Yeah, it's like a little bit rougher. Like these parts I would maybe clean up over here because like that's a little bit too rough for me. But like in terms of like some of this line work also, like it's not like really like perfect either. Like even like this one over here is not really perfect either. Like we can go back in and like just kind of like clean it up more if we wanted to, right? But like also like another thing I wanted to like point out is like from far away, if it looks fine, like if it looks okay as like an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper like this, like that's fine. Okay, like unless we have to actually print this out like really, really, really big, most likely nobody is going to see that from like that distance. Now that doesn't mean you should make everything like so small that we can't see anything, right? Like it should be at a reasonable size. The detail needs to look clear. That's kind of how I think of detail at least. It's like it needs to kind of like fit like on that realm. Yeah, let's make a stippling brush. I'm gonna show you how to make a brush. Also helps for digital painting, but let's do stippling. Okay, I'm gonna make a new file, and I'll make it I like to set it at like 500 by 500 pixels. I'll be honest, I don't really have like a true number for this part, but this tends to work for me. I don't know what other people do, but this works for me. So I'm gonna press create, and then what I can kind of do is, well, I guess like let's try this out first. I'm gonna go to Windows and brush settings. And brush settings is pretty cool. This is where we can change some of the brush settings. Now, I'm not going to go over all the brush settings here because, like, if you're going to take my digital painting class or with Bernard or anyone else, like, what is that? You're probably going to learn that over there. But for this particular one, like, I already taught y'all transfer and shape dynamics, which are these buttons up here. The only one I would recommend to try out is maybe like scattering. Scattering allows us to just kind of create some scatters like this. So you can see like my brush starts to turn into like a bunch of like dots. And something we can also do is we can also push spacing. So we can kind of test this out first just to kind of see how it looks. Oh, that's not too bad. But I don't know if I like. Actually, that's not too bad. Might be able to just work with this, but it's a little bit too. I want to be a little bit more consistent too. Let's turn off shape dynamics. There we go. So now it's all the same size. But I do want maybe transfer on, so that way we can control how dark we want them to. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, for a stippling brush, this is like pretty good. And like we can like negatively like race into it too. So okay, so that's pretty good. So scattering and brush tip shape. So I would maybe increase the spacing and I would just increase the scatter for like just a round brush. And once you have this brush, you can go to like your brushes over here. So just go to Windows and Brushes, open up your brushes, go to this little like top right corner, click on New Brush Preset, and you can actually save this brush. So I'm going to include my tool settings. And then what I'm going to do now is, so in areas that have like a little bit of like shadow, I can like maybe push some value in texture. If it's too much, I can erase into it. Oh shoot, it's too big. Oh shit, do this on the wrong layer, but that's okay. So kind of like that, you see, and it gives us like a little bit of like texture to that wall. Make a new layer, so I'm going to do a layer underneath. Like for example, like right here. By the way, it's for the story where I got let go. I totally deserved it. Yeah. I just wanted to like it's not like I didn't. I was very irresponsible and I didn't and one of the biggest mess ups I ever did was I don't think they know this either because the person who caught it was nice enough not to say anything. But basically, I didn't know how to return stuff because someone wanted a refund, and like we refunded them their drink. But okay, this is kind of like dumb though. Like the system when you refund something, it's a toggle. So like what that means is like it only refunds unless you untoggle it. So for the next five people, I was giving them money back for like getting a drink. Like so they would buy like two drinks and I'd give them $10. And then someone was like, dude, it was on like refund the whole time. And I was like, that's a really dumb feature. I was like, it should only refund for the first person. And they're like, yeah, that's just how it works though. And I was like, what? And they're like, don't worry, I'm not gonna tell blah blah blah. I'm just like, okay, that's okay. I got let go anyways.
Oh, man.
It wasn't for that though. It was because of what is it? I forgot to go into work. It was on the first time.
That my daughter have now, it's like, I was like the first, like, and anyways, yeah, I scheduling and they called me. I was like an hour away in Omaha, like, you guys, where are you at? Like,
Oh,
at the Anaheim at the time, like, right?
oh,
Oh, I'm an hour away in Omaha. So sorry. We
oh,
were chill about it. You know, I'm still there. Kind of thing.
oh, that was nicer to chill about it.
Yeah. Try not to be like,
so nice.
Yeah, I got the warning. I was like, if this happens one more time, we're gonna have to let you go.
Oh.
And I was like, okay. And then they let me go. It was a fun job though. He taught me how to make like a heart with like latte art.
Yeah.
And then I was like practicing. And one time I made it and it kind of looked a little phallic. And then I didn't know what to do, so I started mixing the drink. And then like the guy was just standing, he's like, "What are you doing to my drink?" I just look at him, I'm like, "Oh, it's done." And I just gave it to him. He's like looking at it, he's like, "What'd you mix my drink?" I was like, "I'll make you a new one if you want." And he's like, "No, it's okay." And he's just like, "Drink." I was like, "Okay, well, yeah." I was like, I didn't want to give it to him like that.
That happens sometimes because you make the little like beginning of the heart, and if you mess up, it's just like, "Brr."
Yeah. I didn't know what to say 'cause I was like, I'm actually pretty shy, so like, I just didn't know what to say either. So I was just like, man, should I call my boss or, oh shoot, I gotta save this real quickly, y'all, 'cause it's like glitching out. I'm gonna reopen this. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Got once too. It's pretty bad because I forgot because I was breaking up with someone.
Oh,
But it's okay, it was fine. But then I like halfway through the conversation, I realized I need to go to work, so we had to pause.
oh my God. Jeez.
That's pretty rough.
That, yeah, it sounds really rough.
I was okay. Rough for him.
So it's just a learning experience.
Sad when other people get dragged into it.
At the first week of school, I had a reserve, I was my reserves in the Navy Reserve Center. It was one of our reserve weekends, and I completely forgot, because I was so focused on the start of school. They had a Saturday class, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't like email the professor or tell him I wouldn't be there the first day and make sure the seat was saved, you know? So it was like, I have to go to school or else I'm gonna get dropped from class.
Yeah.
So I just like, emails, I just told him maybe I was sick.
Oh man.
They were not sure.
Oh,
Oh.
sorry. It's all a learning experience. Yeah, don't worry, y'all. Even when things like that happen, everything's okay. Okay, I'm gonna use the stippling brush again real quick, and I'm gonna just start off stippling this area a little bit. I might make a separate stippling brush for the carpet because I like the texture of the carpet, but I think like the current one is like a little too intense. So for this one, I'm gonna make it pretty small. And I'm just gonna go ahead and just kind of like just get these areas first. Just use this. I'm just gonna color over like the table first. That's okay. We'll like, deal with that later. Snipping is a great like technique, y'all. I highly recommend like mess around with it. It makes like shading stuff like quite simple, and it works for like most like textures too, in my opinion. So does hatching.
And but my like one thing I learned like step two to finish it is like most shading the tattoos is basically just stippling on a microscopic.
Yeah, it's just like right? And like you just angle the needle in certain ways to get certain textures. It's pretty gnarly.
Certain needle configurations. It's basically hatching, but most shading. Stippling.
It's like cool to see how those like foundations translate into like so many different art forms. I did this part on a different layer, so that way it doesn't like erase my my stippling like when I'm like going back to like adjust. So take advantage of your layers, y'all. Like there's a lot of advantages of digital art that just like facilitate like the whole process and like unless like your goal is to like be so much of a purist to achieve that like traditional look that you have to do that for everything. Like I think like it's okay to like, utilize like some of these like tools to help you like speeding up the process. Like I would say like for those of y'all who want to like work at corporate and stuff, which is like, it's definitely like a thing to prepare yourself for because as much as like I always tell people like real it's honest I'm honest too when I say this like you can really do whatever you want with your art and like as there's a market for everything out there like whatever you do like somebody's gonna like it and there's also people who aren't gonna like it you just have to find your niche right and marketing is important like a lot just like showing your work is what makes you a known artist and have your fans but if you want to work at corporate you have to develop like you have to train yourself to like do art in certain ways because like it is like very like boot campy and like very like things have to be done like exactly this way and new problems are going to occur too and you're going to have to wear multiple hats like realistically you know like even if it's not in like art like you're probably going to have to wear multiple hats if you just get into a different corporate like position so just be like very mindful about if you do plan like to do that I would say like the two types of like the two things that you either want to like I guess like two you either want to be like really like if you work really slow you want to make sure that your work is like really like refined and where you work if you work really fast then it has to be pretty good but you have to like have like a you have to like be like knocking out like tons and tons of stuff because like they either need people who can like make super detailed stuff or like really good ideas really fast while still being like readable. So speed can be quite important, y'all, and that's what like digital art can like do for us here. So it can help like speeding up some of the process of like certain parts that usually might take like quite a while. And like I'm just gonna go back to the dots layer, and we're just gonna go ahead and transition some of the stippling. We can even go into like this layer and like erase into it too. By the way, so if you hold I don't know if I told you all this, but there's like a little like squiggly button next to your number one keyboard. It looks like this. It's like called the tilde key. If you hold the tilde key, it turns your brush into an eraser. So you can use like certain brushes as like erasers. So it's like a really powerful tool. So before I was stippling, but now I'm like erasing with the stippling tool so that it makes it a little bit easier for me to like create that blend. The tilde key. So it's right above your tab key and to the left of the number one key and exclamation mark. Yeah, awesome tool. Use your selections too, y'all. Like sometimes like if you have trouble drawing inside of like certain shapes, you can use your selections. If you press Control H, you can actually hide your selections. And it's still there. You just can't see it. So it makes it a little bit easier for you to just kind of go in and just like add texture or work within those shapes. Then add everything here. Let's darken this part. Just the top. Okay, let's take a really quick break, y'all. Let's do a 15-minute break. Let's come back at 8:16. Yeah. When we get back, we'll go ahead and continue this demo. I'm gonna take a walk. Anybody need me for anything, I guess, before I just take a walk. Okay, I'll be right back.
Voted. I done it. What was on it? What do you mean? The different, there's Prop 1, there was like, there's like a section that's like the politicians in your district, city.
I feel like I used to know all the propositions that were on the ballot because
There's only one this time, so
Really?
I don't know if that's normal or not. That's what it's-
I feel like they used to have ads like every time you turn on TV, it'd be like prop whatever.
I
Now,
saw-
since I stream, there's no ads anymore.
I get a ton of that. Well, but the granted, the only prop that's back in right now, it's on the back.
I haven't gotten any ads for any politics.
I haven't
I
gotten
got
any-
thumbtacks though.
I
don't know.
I didn't get anything like.
Did you see
Oh, I've been getting texts. I've been ignoring all of them. because Those are
If
like,
not, it's cool though. I just found them outside.
yeah.
Oh, God.
So,
Well, what was the proposition? Like, what is
You go check on Lab 8 and see what happens.
it's hard for me to describe without being totally biased. That's totally fine. It's basically essentially just a bunch more taxes to help with like homeless and people that need things, but if you look at it, it's just a bunch of taxes and I don't think it's actually gonna go to the right places.
Yeah. Do you guys by any chance have like tape on? Oh,
I actually,
any type of tape.
hold on,
So
actually
I
my,
found like 7 of the posters downstairs. So I was trying to like put them back up and then like they were falling off.
Oh.
So I was like, snap them back. Yeah.
I saw that made me sad, but okay, I guess this part will be good. But
Oh no. You know, I think I would end up using like all of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to take all your tape.
that's fair. I don't even think it would, even if you used all the, I don't know if that.
I think you'd stick for like a solid 5 minutes. That's okay though.
Oh, man. Thank you, though. We appreciate that.
But yeah, no, I want there to be good help, but
Yeah.
that one, the list of actual like taxes being added to like good things happening one thing.
Here's the thing, we reallocate most of our taxes.
It's so quick pretty places, you know, I hate politics, it's annoying.
It makes me just disappointed in the world more than I already am.
But I had fun last night, like reading all the politicians. That was like the first time I actually like looked into it. It was kind of fun. Some of them had some good ideas. Some of them. There's one that like was talking about like making waterways and like actually gathering the water that like you know the LA, what is that thing called? It's not really an opera. It's just like the LA River.
Yeah, I know.
Like they're talking about like making a bunch of those like water purifier things to like actually use the water. Because that water just gets dumped, but yeah,
There's a reason why we don't do that.
because it's gross.
So the reason why the water is supposed to go to the ocean is
Yeah.
to prevent coastal erosion. So the reason why we're seeing coastal erosion on our coast, like in San Clemente and in
Yeah, but it's
Malibu,
just like
is because our water, all the waterways in California, like 90% of them are dammed. So what that does is it causes a block of sediment from getting to the ocean to replenish our beaches. So if you make, the more you stop the flow of water, the more coastal erosion.
oh, but even if it's like already, because it's already contained technically, like the LA River water.
Yeah, but it all like funnels down.
Yeah, because you know, glacier. all that stuff.
Well, I'm just saying if it's just like ending up.
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know either. I was just like doing
It's
like.
one of the reasons they're trying to get rid of, you know how like all the rivers in LA are paved?
Yeah, like
So-
on the upper part, right?
Yeah, and you're seeing a lot of them are getting actually overgrown with like vegetation.
Uh-huh.
So it used to be like every 5 or 10 years, they would go into the river, cut all that shit out, and then repave it.
Some of them have like trees in there.
So biologists and geologists were like, hey man, you can't do that because it stops the sediment flow, and that's why we're seeing flooding and coastal erosion. So that's why they're letting vegetation and like actual sediment build up on the riverbanks
That's kind of interesting. I didn't
to
know.
allow it to go to the ocean.
Huh.
Yeah. Like if you look at the LA River now, like especially if you go towards like Dodger Stadium and you look down in the river
Yeah.
bed, it like literally kind of looks like a river now.
It does because there's like dirt and stuff.
And also the other thing is like, there's a lot of sea life. They like, they spend all their ocean in the ocean, but they like mate and stuff on coastal ravines.
But even if it's because it's like fresh water, it's like heroin needle water though.
Yeah, like in Long Beach, they've seen the green sea turtles that are nesting in the Long Beach riverbeds.
Wait, actually? Like,
Yeah.
oh, wait, that's kind of.
And that's like biologists have been saying for years, like, yes, sea turtles are supposed to go into the riverways, lay eggs. 'Cause it's a, and then leave. But that never happened.
Okay, so if like the water wasn't going there, there'd sea turtle, like the sea
Yeah.
turtles wouldn't go there.
Exactly. Yeah, like if you go on YouTube, there's people like bikers like in the Long Beach riverbeds. And like what the fuck, the sea turtle, and you just see a shopping cart and like
That's kind
yeah,
of sad to like
fucked
see.
up.
At least they're surviving, sort of. Oh, is it? Huh.
I don't know, but I lost
No, I don't know.
politics a long time ago.
I like ideas like that though, like stuff I haven't heard of like that. Like, ooh.
Like my first election I voted in back in the day, like back in 2008, age, but one of the things that was on the ballot was a high-speed rail to Las Vegas.
Oh my gosh, wait, that totally.
Not gonna happen. I don't think.
No, but they built it and then it stopped, or they built half of it and then it lost like billions of dollars.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was like super stoked on it because I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it'll be done in 5 years. Hell yeah, I'll be 21 by then.
Oh.
And then it never happened. And I remember when I got back to the house, my uncle was there. He's like, so would you vote yes on? I was like, oh, the high speed. He's like, that will never get built.
Oh.
Like,
Yeah.
he's like, they're just gonna take your tax money and it's never gonna get built. And then sure shit, that never got built.
I heard that one is kind of a money grab because they still get money for it.
That's such a lie. Like, we're gonna build railroad. Like, never mind. I don't know. I'm not.
There's a lot of things like that that are so.
So land developers on the off the sides of the highway, this is what I found out, like land developers want all the land along the route of the railroad, right? And then they put a bunch of money into a political ad campaign to say they're gonna build a high-speed rail in Las Vegas. State of California has got so much land from these land developers.
Awesome. What?
Boring characters.
All the money that I got.
What? No, I think they're pretty cool.
Actually,
I mean, you're always going to be improving, right? But that's so cool. I like this guy a lot.
Build a railroad.
Middle guy's very interesting.
Try to.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so cool. What are their names? What was their story?
Oh, this is a Batman story.
Oh.
But Batman came out second page.
Gotcha. Thanks for showing me this. That's so cool. Yeah, look at the hatching too, and like the texture. That's looking so nice.
New way to Photoshop help with perspective.
Oh,
Just laying the perspective and just read the rulers, the inches. Don't have to use the real ruler on the paper.
yeah, man. The real ruler is like it's like so crazy.
Well, you can find that one.
That's true, right?
Fair enough.
Just mark it.
Yeah, it's so hard. I know, like back then, yeah, we used to just like mark the corners, right? Or we get like a string. Well, here you go. Thanks for showing me again. That's so cool.
That's gonna be that time.
Yeah, it's just gonna be lab time. So if you want to work on your stuff, you're welcome to. If you want to work on that, you're welcome to. So. Oh God. Oh, I know you have. I know you usually like.
There's more process.
Yeah. But yeah, that's fine. If you have to catch the bus a little early, that's totally fine with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. All right, it's 8:15. Let's go ahead and continue.
When you left me. What? Really? For a couple weeks you did.
Yeah, because I had some.
I don't have that.
I'm just saying I took your spot. Like the song said, no, that's right. I don't know why. I just did.
Okay.
Perfect.
I mold my twitch mold.
Thank you so much.
Oh, okay.
Go.
So like I hit my knee against that
I've done it before.
it hurts.
Right on the kneecap, that's like the worst.
Oh. Yeah, that's like exactly right. Oh.
So I'm also gonna make a selection here. So I'm just gonna select these parts. Again, like take advantage of them, y'all. Like there's a lot of you can like mask out certain areas with your selection tool and just focus on like texturing there. For those of y'all texturing, like when you are like hatching and stuff, one thing I want to like just talk about is like learn to control. Like when I used to teach like what is it like the kids studio and we would go over like hatching. One of the things that would happen a lot is especially with like younger kids, like when they hatch, they like to hatch like really, really fast because they want to get it done, you know? And like it's a repetitive like motion, so they tend to just keep like making lines, but they're not really thinking about like the density of the line, the what is it? The density of the texture, what is it? The direction that you have to hatch in, all that stuff. So, and also even just like what is it? The consistency of the hatch too. So what ends up happening is they have something very, very chaotic, right? So what I would recommend is like what I usually tell people is like, and especially like when I was like teaching those like kids, like one of the lessons was like, if you're drawing and you're messing up stuff, like you have to draw fast enough so that you're making clean lines. But if you're drawing so fast that you can't control what it looks like, then you're drawing way too fast. But if you're drawing so slow that your lines feel like very unconfident, then you're drawing too slow. Uh, By the way, if I like for some reason if I finish this like demo early, which what is it? I most likely will before like the actual project finishes. Feel free to let me know if there's anything y'all want me to like re-demo or like tackle. Also, what is it? If y'all have any questions or need help with your work, feel free to let me know. It is now past break, so gotten a good amount of time to get a good amount of this in. So if y'all need help or need me to take a look at your stuff, like feel free to like raise your hand and like call me over. Anybody need help? Okay, nice. A little bit over here. I don't want to add too much. It's like kind of suggest it a little bit. Same for like the marble texture. Like I don't want to like, I just want to like suggest that it kind of looks and feels like marble. So a lot of times like abstraction is like maybe some of the best way to draw realistically. Like how can I create the illusion of this particular texture just by using looser shapes and line work, right? Like this, like these little like bits over here that are like just faint. How can I like re re-express that, but as like marks? right? Because like right now when we see it, it's a shape on a photo and it's a texture, but we need to create that texture using marks. So how thin do the lines have to be? How close are they going to be together? Is it thin to thick to thick, thin to thin, right? Like all those things are like things that I would like consider when like usually like inking a piece. Hatch for some of them. I made my texture pretty small because for this part, like there's also like again, there's also a scale with texture too, y'all. When I like teach my what is it? A lot of time for those of y'all, some of y'all in my digital painting class right now, but like a lot of times in a digital painting, not just in digital painting class, but in all classes where I teach digital painting, I think one of the biggest mistakes I see is like when people throw down a texture, they just kind of leave it flat. Especially like those who want to use like photo textures. Um, just because like, some people don't know how to use photo texture, right? But when you're throwing down like a texture, you always have to think about the scale with texture too. Like if I have hatches and some of the hatches are further away, they need to look skinnier and like thinner and like denser together, right? Whereas like the ones that are closer, they need to have thicker lines. They need to be like they're probably still condensed in a way, but like we might see like a little bit more of the spacing. So like there's always a what is it? Scale with texture too, y'all. Also, when you're working on this, I don't want y'all to make like a one-to-one render copy of this. Like, I mean, the drawing should be pretty accurate, but I want y'all to like again like push some of the texture and kind of ask yourself like, how can I make this like look and feel more like a drawing, right? Like, what are some parts that we can push that may need the texture, may need the form? How can we like make things pop out from like the background if some of the parts are blending together? We treat it like an ink drawing. Here's uh, oh no, my Photoshop just crashed. Sorry, what'd you say, Carla?
It just looks like a comic book, right now.
Yeah, that's a
Stuff that, when I look at comments, I'm like, no, that's not. Maybe 100% realistic, but it.
that's a great way to think. Yeah, you're kind of doing like a comic inking. It's very similar to that. It is like kind of on the realism realm, but it's not like photorealism, right? Where is it? Shoot, what's his name? Oh, Ahmed Al-Duri. Okay. So like when y'all are working on building your voice, and for especially for my character designers, this is Ahmed Al-Duri. He does some like really cool artwork, especially character stuff. I believe he worked at Blizzard before, but now he just like runs a. I mean, he still works on stuff, but he like does a lot of like teaching stuff now. But Ahmed Al-Duri has like this thing called like was it charts? You can download these charts for like free too, but this is a really good one I like to kind of talk about. Let me see if I can find a full version of this. Style. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I feel you. It's stressful. You know what? Let's just see if we can like buy it or purchase it or download it.
Okay.
It's like free.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, government has a lot of stuff.
Where the chart's at. Oops. Gumroad. There we go. Okay, so name a fair price, $0. Uh, oh, perfect. Okay. I'll throw this in the chat too, because it's like completely free to like download, and these are all like really good resources. But see this y'all can like that. Where is it? There we go. Okay. Oh, perfect. Okay. So this is on Metal Grease like style guide. Y'all are working on like illustration. Like there's a huge range of styles that y'all can kind of think about. And this is more for like characters, but it works for like props and environments too. But on the very top left, you have things that are very, well, on the very left, you have things that are very realistic. On the right, you have things that are very cartoony or push proportions. Towards the top of the chart, you have a realistic render, which means that things should have 3D form, ambient shadows, reflections, specular highlights. It's going to be more realistic in terms of life as we move up. But as we move down, we have a non-realistic render, which is going to break the rules a lot in abstract things. You can see a full range of realism here. Like we have very realistic things, but if we go down here, it's starting to get into range of realism, but also a little bit graphic. You see that, right? Whereas like on the top right, we have something that's very realistically rendered, but it's very, very push proportions. You know, towards the bottom, we have very push proportions and very like abstracted flat renders. So there's like a huge range of different styles that y'all can work with, y'all. From realism to abstract to semi-realism to having blends and shadows to just having flat color. You see that, right? So I like this chart because it really just kind of shows a full range, or at least like most of like the general like parts of the full range. Oh, like the different things that different styles and ways that you can kind of take like, you know, a specific render. Because like in the end of the day, like you're either doing this because you really like to do it and that's what you want to do, or you're creating a product, right? And depending on like what you want to do with your artwork, that's like what I think that's what makes this like I always knew art was going to be hard growing up. I think what I realized made it really hard was you don't really get a direction, I feel like, of like where to go, or like nobody really points you in a direction, or they don't tell you all the directions you could go. Like, y'all know there's like 9 fields to illustration, right? There's like commercial illustration, sequential art, concept art, fashion design, and there's like subcategories within those. You know, like in fashion, we have like costuming, right? Real life, like what is it? Concepting for like specific equipment. And it's like a full range of stuff too. You could be working for a video game company, you could be working for the government doing this, like really, like one of my friends, he got an interview to design boats for the government. Yeah, like for like yeah, like they needed someone who does that, but he didn't get the job because unfortunately his dad got sick, so he had to take care of his dad. But long story short, like there's a full rate. Like even for concept art, somebody has to design like theme parks. Somebody has to design like the Disney concert hall or like what is it, the Crystal Cathedral in like Orange. You know, there's like real life functions to like these too, other than just like video games and animation. And these are all like different like types of illustration. They like also like overlap with like other like types of artwork, but like I think what made this like field so hard was like there was so many like at first there I didn't know there was so many things to do, but like afterwards there's also so many things to do, you know? And some people I think like my best advice for that is like some people know exactly what they want to do and they're like really laser focused on that. And some people like they do their artwork and they also do other things and that's fine too. Like teaching is my passive income. But like I do like a lot of like smaller side jobs, you know, that help me develop as an artist or like develop things as a what is it? As a like my social media, things like that. Actually, I gotta post. Forgot to post today. Oh man, you mean the $18 one? Man, I don't know. I didn't even take a picture of it. It would have just been the cup with like some like brown water. It looks the same as other coffee. It was good though. But yeah, again, not like I don't know. I think like I like Wagyu a lot, but I don't know if I mean like I paid 100 for Wagyu before. But I think it's like I wouldn't do it like all the time. But I think it's more worth it than Wagyu for 100. Like I would do it more than like coffee for 18.
Yeah. Augie's worth
Yeah, like there's satisfaction to take it. Oh, I had a Wagyu dumplings the other day.
it.
Yeah, it was my first time. Like it was at in Whittier. They have a sushi shop called Ozabu. And what is it? That's kind of pricey. I didn't know it was pricey. My friends were just, I was just like, they want to eat sushi, and they're like, hey, let's meet up here. I didn't really look at it. I was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, dude, this place is like really fancy. It was good. Let's get these parts here. Yeah, some of these parts, like we can just like ink in. I'm just gonna grab like, something like pressure size. I should do the texturing, the main texture of the plants, and in a bit. Like maybe I originally wanted to like tackle the values a little bit too, but I think I might just do like the patterning and then see like where I want to go from there. Because if I don't know if the value will add too much. So I'm trying to design this too in a way where like again like things are reading more graphically than they are like I mean it still follows a light source, but I don't want like everything to like everything should still follow a light source, but I don't need to get every part in, is what I'm saying. Like I want things to like read and just have like hints of texture. That's this. These parts we can kind of these parts. We want this part a little bit darker so that we can show that depth, but this, get the shadow. Parts can do a little bit. Some of these parts too, we can start getting. By the way, so if you're like really scared to like kind of like commit to some of the the shapes and stuff, like you can always make another layer, or you can always make another layer and like do the shapes and shadows on that and like merge them after. I do that quite a lot. I'll like just literally like work with it. I just like work on different layers and just merge them down after. It just makes it a lot safer. And let's go ahead and get rid of these selections here. Have I told y'all what project and stuff we're gonna do next? Yeah, we're gonna do portraits. That'll be fun. Yeah. So we're gonna it's not a we're not an anatomy class, and I'll be really honest, like I'm not the right person to ask about anatomy. Like if you want to know about perspective backgrounds and stuff, like I'm your person. But not that my anatomy is like not terrible. Like it's my anatomy is not bad. Like I mean I can draw characters and stuff, and if I was in a figure drawing class, I'll survive. But what is it? But I want to we're gonna go over portraits and we're gonna focus more on construction process and like rendering. So it's more about like the application of the skills than it is about like than learning how to draw a portrait. But it does, unfortunately. It's because I want y'all to create your own compositions. If it helps, I usually recommend students to do a portrait that they feel like they would use as their app like picture for like their website or something. Hmm. And that way there's like a double use to it. Here, push a little bit. I don't want to push too much detail here. Like maybe in this area it's more okay, like underneath the bag in this area, but next to the tiles, I might want to like keep it a little bit lighter on the texture. Like don't go too heavy on it. So that way like the tiles can read a little bit better. Like this part over here, just to push shadow, we can like darken it. Anybody here had a aerobe at Irvine before? We y'all know of that shop?
I really thought you said Harambe for a second.
Harambe. Oh man,
But no.
Harambe was a hero.
Right.
Man, I love that meme when it came out. Um, what is it? This is a really popular boba shop in Irvine called Arobe. And I will say this. If I had to choose one place to have the best tea in OC, that is a possible competitor. It's like the tea is just phenomenal and it tastes so good and it's so heavy on like the tea flavor. Even if you get something sweetened, like you can taste the tea in it and it's just so strong.
What's it called?
It's called Arobe, but to add on to the story,
Oh, Robe? Sorry.
oh yeah, Arobe. So like oro like so they said oro like Italian for gold and then bay is like it was on their cup. Like
Oh. Yeah, like Bay, like.
Mhm. So it's called like Golden Cup. Okay, so recently they shut down due to staff shortages,
Oh.
and they'll reopen soon. But I found out through TikTok that they are having a lot of issues with their workers. Like their workers are being underpaid and mistreated, and Y- Yeah, and then like man, just and then also so me and my family, we always get stomach aches after drinking Orobe because we feel like the tea is too strong. So it's a caffeine, but we just found out like through TikTok like someone literally spilled the tea, no pun intended. Like they were just like they don't wash their stuff very well, so everything's moldy. So this was like something we saw as like the golden restaurant of I mean I literally live like maybe like 5 minutes from it and like it's always a line. Like it's insane. Like you sometimes some people wait like an hour for their boba there.
Wow.
But yeah, it's kind of sad to see what is it? And the owner's not a very nice person apparently.
Oh.
Like yeah, says and does some very bigoted things. So what is it? I'm really hoping.
What does that make me fully knowing this and still wanting to go?
Oh man,
So,
I will say like it's still a good tea.
you put
It
us
still
in
tastes good.
you put us in a tricky spot.
That's great.
And now we can go and face the guilt now, or we can just not go this out.
That could be better.
How are they, I'm wondering how do you understand themselves?
Uh,
So well, yeah. They
Yeah.
probably work extra without.
they also take the owner also takes their tips, things like that. Like, yeah, it's like one of those things. Paid minimum wage, things like that.
Minimum wage, I can understand, but taking the tips,
Mhm.
that's pretty.
Yeah, it's like these are people who are like, it's their entry level jobs, some people's first jobs, and like they're working really hard and like I mean, I remember when I was working my first job, like the tip wasn't that much, but it, like helped me get through a little bit on like some stuff. So, and like the owner is benefiting a lot already from the sales. So like, yeah, I don't know, but
I always ask if if they have like the tip option anywhere, I'm always like, do you guys get your tips?
that's nice.
It's like just finding out that like there's quite a few places that don't tip their workers or don't give them prints. It's just really shitty.
Mhm.
I was like, did you know like a lot of places, you know where you where it says, would you like to donate $1, $2, $5, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Mm,
There's a reason they do this. A lot of corporations, they either,
Oh, because tax breaks, right?
yeah,
uh,
corporations already donated the money.
Jesse?
See that as a way to pay themselves back, but then they still use the full dollar amount on as a tax.
Hello?
Oh.
That's pretty messed up.
Yeah,
That's so diabolical, horrible, and genius. Why would they think that part?
I thought I was being a good person this whole time.
I never round up.
I guess it's the thought that counts, but now I know I'm not going to. No, I think I want my groceries to just be like the same as it was when same price I like knew. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, super sad about Robe. It was like our go-to tea, but
I can hear you, Jonathan.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just me.
there's
Thank
this
you.
other place called TPT. They have a couple of chains, but if you ever want to try like it's the sister store to like the place that invented boba. So like the place that invented boba is called Chun Sui Tang, which is like in Taiwan, and like they opened up a couple of TPTs here. So like I usually like to go to that mostly because I have online ordering, so I can just go there and pick it up. The convenience is great, but yeah, I recommend that. So next to John Way Airport, for those of y'all who live in that area, and I think they have like one in like Cerritos too.
those on TBT.
TP. Yeah, I thought it was Taipei tea at first, but it's actually Taiwan Professional Tea. That's what it stands for. That's really good though. They have a lot of good options. I haven't tried it yet, but my friends love the strawberry milk tea. It's like ice blended too. And then I really like the winter melon tea. And then oh, winter melon is so good.
Or visit someone to help soup.
Oh, that's good too. Yeah, winter melon soup is actually savory, right? From what? Yeah,
So
and my mom makes that in the winter for us. Super good for you too. The drink is not as good for you, but the drink is like just sugar water. So like when I'm making these hatches, y'all, like I'm just kind of implying form. I'm not really trying to like shade the whole like the whole like pillow here. Just kind of like say like, hey, this part's a little bit round, there's a little bit of shadow. Oh no, we actually cannot. Sorry. Try saying something again, Jonathan.
Hello?
Yo, what's up?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I like tried to get your attention earlier too. My bad.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Like, man, yeah, so somebody always mutes like the computer like when I come into class. So sometimes I don't notice until someone types on the chat, like or raises their hand. I'm like, oh shoot, like what the heck? I'm so sorry about that though. Like, how can I help you out, Jonathan?
Oh, it's all good. I was just like hearing the conversation. I used to work as a tea barista, so
Oh,
your input was very amusing to me. We have like honestly, we have a lot of the same problems here, like where I'm at in like
huh.
the San Jose area. Like, I don't know, it's a little disturbing because like a lot of them don't clean their stuff because
Oh
they
man.
use like typically shakers. They'll just rinse
Oh,
them and like it's really gross.
that is gross.
Yeah. And also, a side note as to like maybe why you had to like why the tea made you sick. If the tea tastes really strong, if you oversteep tea, it develops more tannins. It's the same thing in coffee that makes you go to the bathroom. It's like a natural laxative.
Oh,
So if you
that's good
taste
to
your tea and
know.
it's super strong, expect to be going to the bathroom in like 20 minutes,
Nice.
especially
That's
if it's milk tea.
that's really good to know. Thanks for sharing that. That's so interesting. I didn't know tea did that too.
I mean, you kind of had to like royally screw it up, I'm not gonna lie. Or if you're like specifically making the tea to help you, like, if you're like having digestive issues and you need to go. Some people do that as like a home remedy.
Like matcha, really good for that.
Oh, matcha?
I've never heard of matcha making it.
Or is it just in my brain? There was something that was like,
Matcha's good for your heart. I know that one.
you posted the brushes, right, Jessica? The one that you got on Gumroad.
Oh, I didn't post a brush, but I posted the charts.
Oh, the chart.
Yeah, I made the brush, but I can show you how to do it again.
No, the ones that you were looking at on Gumroad.
Oh yeah, I just posted the charts on like the
Oh.
chat, so I can post them again if you need me to.
I'm just trying to launch the meeting.
Gotcha. If you can't find it, you can Ahmed Alduri charts on Gumroad. Riverside?
Yeah.
Like for work or like for teaching or learning, I guess.
I know OC has something.
Yeah, Riverside has a few. I know,
Oh, they have Storyline Studios,
yeah.
which is they make like the giant Hulk for Universal. The film and stuff.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I applied. I was too young though. I was too ambitious. I was 16. I thought I could get the job.
Hey, aim high though, right? I respect that.
Oh, but
Yeah, for most saturation, probably like LA, Burbank areas where you're gonna find a lot of like if you're looking for entertainment, that is, I think there'll be more around that area. OC's not bad too. There's like, I mean, if you're looking for entertainment design, there's some stuff like there's like Blue Sky, Blizzard, like things like that. Oh, I didn't know that.
oh yeah, they got into their studio like a while ago because they were like East Coast based, I think, right?
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
I knew a couple people who worked there. But yeah, I would say like Burbank area is probably the place to go. If you're looking for like editorial illustration and that kind of stuff, like print, like I would maybe like go check out like well, New York would probably be like somewhere I would go instead, so but yeah, the thing about like this field draw is like location like it's gonna matter a lot.
I don't think that's on my way off of some of those really, but I'm like, I know LA definitely has applications like creative like this or whatever, but
Mhm.
that's what I want to do.
San Francisco is arguably worse than LA.
No, there should be some studios in Riverside because I used to go to RCC and like well my watercolor professor does a lot of like he had like a gallery there. He's Riverside located, like he's local. So and he's done like murals there too. So I imagine there's like they consider it like a pretty artsy town.
Yeah, downtown Riverside.
Yeah.
There's no.
There is no.
Yeah.
Give up.
If anything too, you could always start your own business.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could like make merchandise, make a print on demand shop. It's a lot of work still. Like two of my friends, they like do anime expo and stuff,
Oh
and they
yeah.
like con and booth
I
and
used to do ALA back in high school.
oh, that's a good one too. But man, yeah, it's a lot of
I'm
work.
in Los Angeles, yeah, and then it's no longer in Los Angeles. But like in Ontario now. Right.
I like the idea of like having your own business. I working with people is a lot sometimes, or like, I don't know.
No, I'm the opposite. I hate doing things for myself. I need people.
I find it too, but at the same time, like, I don't know, like, I'm not trying to like give up and go with it, no, like, but options. Have some money coming in.
Yeah, it's great. My friends, they literally just got like residual income, and like, I mean, one of them, what is it? They're like a couple, and like one of them works at like a illustration firm in like Hollywood. So like, he makes well, if you play Fortnite, like he's made a couple of like the splash pages, like when you're like the loading pages. They are, and Man, I don't know if I can tell you. Yeah, I don't know if I can tell y'all more. He works on really cool stuff, but
He
he
spilled the
worked.
beans to you.
He did, but we're too. I can't do that to him. This is also like all on recording, so.
Yeah.
But what is it? He made when the gods, not the most recent Godzilla, but when they first redid Godzilla like a couple years ago, he got to make one of the covers for the comics, so that was kind of cool. Um, but um, but yeah, like they have their own business and like it's pretty lucrative, but it's like a lot of work too, because you always have to constantly be making stuff. And you got to think about it like this too, is your fans are they're gonna be people who come visit you like at your booth, like even if you like go from like New York to like California, like they'll still come to your booth. And like if you don't have anything new to buy, they're not gonna buy. And if they have nothing to buy there, like they may not visit you next time, or they may not think that you have anything new. So like the pressure of always trying to create something new is like really high when you're like merchandising, but it can be really lucrative if you find like a really good product. Shoot, I forgot her name. Chloris Creates. Y'all know Chloris Creates? It's kind of like a TikTok viral like artist, but she's local to this area. She only makes dog and cat keychains, pet keychains. And she has over, I think, like 200 different breeds of dog and cats you can buy. And she just go her like profit's insane. Like it's like anywhere between like $5,000 to $10,000 like per like booth. Like per like every time she like goes to a convention. It's because like so many people want to buy they can find their dog and cat like as a keychain always. So like yeah, right. Me too. Like I want to find like my poodle. But but what is it like? But like that's like an example of something that's like a kind of like a viral product, y'all. You want to find what is it? Something that you can sell and that something like people want to keep buying. Because like for Chloris, like what I'm wondering is like once like they buy like when you buy your pet, like what else would you want to buy? You know, right? But then like for my friends, well, they do particularly a lot of like fan art type of stuff when they sell, which by the way, y'all, fan art is okay to create, but like you got to be careful if you're trying to sell stuff because your whole business can go down in like one cease and desist order. Yes. I talk about this in my digital illustration class at like Cal State Fullerton because for that class we have to go over like jobs and like copyright, trademarks, all that stuff. But what is it? When you're like merchandising stuff, like you just got to be like really, really careful. But like for them, like because they're making like anime and like other things like that, um, they can always create new content that's like coming out, and they can like they like really, really ride the what is it? Like the hype train.
Yeah.
Like anybody watch like Free Red? It's like an anime. So people I haven't seen it yet.
Rerun is so good.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, they're like doing a lot of like free rent fan art right now because like I mean that's the hot anime. And then what is it? Before what is it? When Elden Ring came out, they were doing a lot of Elden Ring fan art. So what is it? Like she made like one of like the bosses as a pin and you can like take off like the helmet and like see the fit. It's like crazy, but what is it? You always have to like be making stuff though. It is a lot of work, but like what's nice about it is like you kind of get to pick and choose like when you want to do stuff, how you want to do stuff, right? Like what you want to make, things like that. And you really like develop like almost a voice for yourself in a way too, So it can be really, really worth it. But for those of you, if you ever want to like do your own like business or something, you have to be incredibly disciplined because I'll say this right now, most people like they end up failing that super hard because they push off too many things. They never like even like me myself, like I wanted to start a print shop for years, but like it's so tough with the teaching thing. I'm always like, oh, I'll do it next time. I'll do it next time. I never had time to like I haven't done it yet. I just have a lot of artwork sitting around like that. I mean, I do commissions and stuff, so it's not like I don't get paid for like some of these things, but like I've been wanting to start my own like my own shop with my own prints, but it's a lot of work because it's not just like making the art now, it's also like making sure like it can like survive as a business too. But yeah, it can be really lucrative though, like if you could get it. But I do want to warn people, if you do want to do that, like just make sure you're also like really on top of your taxes.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Yeah, because like you get a lot of under the like cash and under the hand like pay things like that, and like I mean in this country when you don't do your taxes like you go to jail. So like oh my gosh, I filed $1 wrong. Yeah, like if I mess up, just let me fix it.
You're not gonna cease and desist letter?
No, I haven't. No, I one of my friends has though. They made a bunch of pins for like for a series, and basically like the company, I'm not gonna say which one or whatever, but like basically they hit them up and were like, if you don't take these down, we're gonna sue you. And it's a pretty big company too. Like everybody here would know the company. And oh man, and then what is it? But eventually, like they yeah, they took it down, and like yeah, everything was fine. But
So you got one from, Woody does a lot of like, there's like a lot of fan art, but it's like in his own style,
uh-huh,
which is like kind of like retro comics,
uh-huh,
a lot of hat and stuff like that.
uh-huh,
And, he's done Marvel, he's done like pretty much any major fan base you could think of.
uh-huh.
But the only one that ever sent him a cease and desist was for that.
WWE, that's pretty, oh man.
They found out the hard way, like they are extremely protective of their copyrights.
That's so interesting. That makes sense though, because like all of their all the people like all the wrestlers have like a backstory and like a character and a fan base. So they,
Yeah.
oh, that's so interesting.
Once you're assist, like, it's not a big deal as long as you actually cease.
Yeah. But if they catch you doing it again, that's when you probably want to be.
Yeah, the problem what he said with his was it wasn't that he was making money off of it. Well, it wasn't that he stopped, but then he had to, like every time anybody reposted his old work,
Oh my God.
like they would be like, "Hey, we told you to cease and desist."
Oh.
Oh
Like,
man.
so he had to like hire a lawyer and like basically say that, like, I stopped posting this image on such and such date, like any further publication of this work is like outside my control. And then he had to like, I think he had to like relinquish that image, like he had to like basically give the rights to that of his own image to the WWE. So that he
Jeez,
could like stop any legal recourse.
that is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to know though. So don't do WWE fan art. I'm guessing it's going to be the same for a lot of the other sports too. Like I wouldn't want like ESPN who like has a deal with Disney to like go at me. Yeah, just be careful, y'all. Like there are events too, actually, where you can actually make your own merchandise and sell at these booths without it having to be fan art. I have a friend, sorry, not friend, I have a student actually. I do have friends who do that too. But I have a student who she like literally just graduated and now she just kind of like booths, but she goes to like booths where they only focus on like original work. So she creates like a lot of like wizard stuff, which is like pretty cool. There's always like all her stuff's like mushroom themed or potion themed or something like that.
With like events like that. I don't know, like I like Halloween stuff, like on like just a fun convention. And
Mhm.
I don't know, see like a lot of stuff there that's like from Amazon. Like that was an artist.
Oh shoot, didn't I shade this earlier? I guess that's what happened, huh? Crashed. Let's save this right now. So sorry, y'all. I totally forgot to give a break at 9. But here's what we'll do is we'll just go for another 10 minutes and I'll let y'all out early. And if y'all want to stay, I'll stay until like 9:35 for anyone who wants to like work more. But a lot of it is a good chunk of it is done though. Like I think I saved a before and after for like when we took our first break. Yeah, I did. So just to kind of show y'all like the progress. This is what it looked like before. This is what it looked like now. So a good amount of progress has been done, y'all. I like to make these like saves, like where basically like and to do this by the way, is you can press Control A to select everything, and then Control Shift and C to like copy all visible layers. So anything you see, it'll just copy it. And when you paste it, it'll paste it all in one layer. But I like to have these like visual, like kind of like just like process steps because like it not only just kind of like is cool to look at, but it gives me like morale when I'm like drawing or painting too. Morale is like really important, y'all. Okay. I'm sure everybody here has stopped doing a drawing or painting or a design before because they didn't like their drawing or they didn't like their design, they didn't like their painting, right? And it kind of like demotivates them. Like, even though that happens sometimes and you have to power through that sometimes, I think it's still important to try to find joy into the things you do. So, like, one thing for me is like, I'm a perfectionist and I tend to like, also like my mindset, like when I like judge my own artwork, I tend to be really hard on myself. So, even if it looks good to other people, sometimes I think it looks like not too good and I have to get a second like opinion before like I convince myself that it's good enough, which is what my friends are for, right? Like they're there to tell me they're there to give me critiques and let me know I'm doing a good job. Just keep going in that direction. So what is it? When you are shoot, what was I talking about? Oh, motivation. That's right. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, y'all. I forget sometimes. But while you all are working on these things, like seeing the process over here, like allows me to be like, yo, I've gotten a lot done in just like 50 minutes, an hour, and like if I look at that, I can be like, how much more can I get done like in the next hour? Right? How much more can I get done? Like it kind of gives me a little bit of like motivation and it helped me see too that I am making progress. So try to like create like strong morale for yourselves when y'all are doing these like drawings, y'all. Like it's my trick to like just kind of like powering through stuff. Because sometimes like it could be tough, especially like if you worked on something and you really want to make it work, but it just doesn't look the way you want no matter what you do.
Sometimes you just gotta turn your brain off too.
Yeah, sometimes you just take a break, come back to it later. Also, it's important to finish it more than important than making it perfect. Like there's never going to be perfection in like drawing and painting, unless you're like Oda. No, just kidding. um, There's never going to be like perfection. So why try to? I mean, if we're going to get better every single time, we might as well finish this and like just do it better the next time. At least that's like my mindset. I didn't have the heart to tell my mom, but we are she doesn't like to watch like shows that have that are discontinued because I really want to watch Dark with her and like 1980. Yeah, yeah. I want to watch it, but we know it got discontinued, so she doesn't want to.
Why? Because it
That's why
like
it's
stopped halfway.
like yeah, it never ended. The show never ended. But like we're watching a show right now, but I didn't tell her that it got discontinued. And today's the last episode. So
Oh, no.
She wants to watch later too, so I'm just like, man, like, I'm sorry, mom, but
I
I really want her to watch this show, but I knew she would say no.
love watching Space Force. Then it got to see.
Oh, yeah, so yeah, sucks when that happens.
You know, it's like-
Texture here. Scribbling is also a texture, y'all. Sometimes you can scumble. Like scumble is when you just make like scribbles. Like they work on like certain things. So it's not just like hatching and stippling all the time. Like you can find different ways. You can also combine some too. If you want to like hatch over your stipples, things like that. And I just want to add contour form on here. So that could be a great way to like just kind of push some form onto like the cylinder. That's looking really good. I really like it. I like it more than last semester's. That's a good sign. That's like the morale I'm talking about. Yeah, seriously. Give yourselves a pat on the back. You deserve it, you know? Like, yeah, maybe not all of the drawings are gonna turn out like great, but like celebrate the ones that do. And if you think all of them don't turn out great, you gotta go back and look at your drawing. There's definitely awesome things about it. I mean, in class, I'm gonna have to like grade these on a technical scale, but like, but but at the same time, like you like in terms of like jobs, y'all and stuff, like your grades have never mattered for art. Like you could fail this class, and as long as you have a really good portfolio and probably just like a bachelor's in something just to have it on paper for when you apply, like you can like get any art job. Like your portfolio and your personality are going to be, and your attitude are going to be what gets you that job. Like I can say it's different for different like majors and like fields, definitely. Like, I definitely want my doctor to have really good grades. But like, in general, like your art, like even though I am grading this on a technical scale, like try your best. It's okay if you get, you know, if you don't get an A, it's okay. Like if you don't get a B, there's also chances to resubmit, improve, all that stuff. But trying your best is important because like regardless of your grade, it's the learning experience that's going to be valuable. Like understanding how to redo this, recreate this. Okay, I'm gonna stop over here. So I just want to really quickly. So this is where see how far we got from like the last. I don't think we got too far from like where I saved last, but just to kind of see from the beginning of the day to now. So we have, so this is kind of like how it was like during the first save. Then we added more detail. Oh wait, whoops, sorry, I skipped one. Then we added more detail, and then up here we added, so just the lamp. Slowly and surely everything's like coming together, and like that's what like that's looking awesome to me. Like there are parts I like about it. There are parts that still need a little touching up, but overall it's progressing, and I think that's important to see, right? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and save this, y'all. Let's see. So here's what I want to do is for the rest of the class, if you want to stay, you're welcome to stay. But if you want to head out, just good to know there's no homework assignment due this week. All the homework assignments so far have been, well, other than like 2 exercises, have been like, I think last week where it was like stuff was due. But your next 2 homework assignments that are due are going to be due on week 8 with this project. So that's like the texturing assignment and also the stuff that we did last week with like the boxes and like the windows and stuff. So one like longer one shorter one, and then like what is it? This itself again is due week 8. So we'll have this week and next week to work on them during class. But other than that, though, anybody have any questions about today? Any questions about the demo? Things that they want me to talk about before I start letting you all go?